and I'll run and pick it up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm very glad also to report to you that the extremely dynamic directors and program officers of Judicial Training Institute have already completed the curriculum to assist in delivering training in paralegal staff, service staff. This is not to make pocket lawyers of you, but it is to help you become efficient professionals in the area that you work in, so that you can assist judges and magistrates to deliver justice with understanding. Recorders and interpreters should understand the language of the courts better and make fewer mistakes. Bailiffs should understand the concept of due process better, the concept of audi alteram partem, which my Lord quoted, and do their work without delays and more efficiently. It is my intention to use technology to increase transparency and speed in the work of the courts.
Right, so that is the Lady Chief Justice, as by law established. Justice Gertrude Saki Tokono. She's saying that this training is not to make pocket lawyers, but just to have a fair understanding of the terms they use in court, and you can be able to. But the president, the host of that particular anniversary, the Judicial Service Staff Association, has also been making points of welfare issues. Let's hear from Samuel Afute Utu, the president of JUSA, on welfare.
As members of the justice system, we are entrusted with a sacred duty to uphold the law and administer justice without fear or favor. This requires that we maintain the highest standard of integrity in all that we do. JUSAC will continue to champion initiatives that promote ethical conduct among our members, ensuring that we remain worthy of the public trust. As we look to the future, it is also important to address the hope of JUSAC. It is our fervent wish to see all staff under one big umbrella. There is strength in unity, and we believe that by working together, we can achieve even greater things. The welfare of our staff is paramount, and at the end of the day, we are all part of one judicial service. Our unity is one strength, and it is through this unity that we will continue to advocate for the rights and welfare of our members. Finally, as we celebrate this Golden Jubilee, it is important to recognize the challenges we have faced and significant victories we have achieved. We have overcome obstacles, adapted to changes, and remained firm in our mission to uphold the principles of justice and fair play. As we move forward, let us not reflect on the past, but also look forward to the future with aspiration and determination.
Yes, so you always look into the future with hope, aspiration. Remember those days when the year is about to change. The first thing, what is your New Year resolution? So that is the Mr. Samuel Afute-Utu, the president of the Judicial Service Staff Association. Okay.
All right, and that effectively will do it for court today.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you to the deal.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Lily said she brought some stuff. So
yeah, you know.
The bullet. Me, I won't go anywhere. I'll just be waiting at the entrance.
You'll be waiting in the corner, right?
You brought stuff and then you are sitting on the stuff.
No, I can't sit on it.
I can't sit on it.
No, I said in jest. No, I can't. So that's it for court today. We look at what the newspapers are saying this morning quickly. Alan promises to audit mining licenses. Nation secures $30 million UAE grant for forest conservation. Springfield secures rig to appraise Athena oil field. Get licensed or shut down. Trade Minister directs cement producers. NDC launches Women's Manifesto. That's set for the front page of the Daily Graphic.
All right, on the Daily Guide newspaper this morning, Samira campaigns for Baumia in Akwitia. Of course she will. Haptel debunks false ECG contract claims. Ghana secures $30 million to protect forests. A Brie girl's headmistress dies in Italy. So sad.
That's quite sad. Huh?
Yeah, so sad.
Right.
And condolences to her family. May her soul rest in peace. And the Sagleme Housing project begins November. That's according to the Minister for Works and Housing. Okay, let's move on.
We move on to the Ghanaian Times. Forest Conservation. Ghana secures $30 million UAE grant under Resilient Ghana package to achieve biodiversity and climate objectives. Housing deficit. Government announces plans to tackle it. NLA to embark on crusade to rid Lotto industry of unlicensed practitioners. Ghana hosts Made in Africa Skills Week from October 4 through till 18. That's it for the Ghanaian Times.
All right. We'll move on from the Ghanaian Times newspaper and take a look at the Daily Searchlight. Country is broke, but politicians are filthy rich. Country is broke, but politicians are filthy rich. Atoforsen donates 1.15 million Ghana cedis cash to Central Region NDC. Interesting.
Where the money go, there.
Okay. The government has secured 51,000 acres of land for housing projects. That's according to the housing minister. And teacher unions suspend their intended demonstration tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of them are on strike. From CTAG, all of them are on strike because conditions of service is not good. And they want it to be improved. Anyway, so that's it for the Daily Searchlight. Let's move on.
The Daily Statesman says government increases allowance for teachers. Petitioner urges EC to reject NDC candidates' nomination forms. More homes for public servants. Over 600 new homes under construction. Okay. $30 million UAE grant for forest conservation. Small-scale miners push for stakeholder dialogue over future of industry. That's it for the Daily Statesman.
All right, we'll move from the Statesman to the New Crusading Guide. Police nab Nigerian and Togolese land guards at Chematingville. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Chematingville. Yeah. Is it around Chematingville?
Not the Chemating we know, yeah.
All right. Bring your evidence to IPAC. IPAC Summit. EC tells the NDC and stakeholders. So today there's going to be an IPAC meeting, right?
Yeah.
And at that IPAC meeting, it's going to be the media is going to be allowed to cover the IPAC meeting.
Televised live.
The NDC will present, some of the things that they say is evidence as regards the concerns they have about the voters register and the reasons why they are calling for a forensic audit. So you can trust that we're going to bring you a coverage of that here on GHOne TV. So let's look forward to it. Also, National Security Minister debunks illegal mining allegation. Government finalizing negotiations on Sagleme Housing project. SNIT drives self-employment enrollment in Takwa, and Ghana's mission in New York must be adequately resourced. So that's it, the New Crusading Guide newspaper.
And now to the Chronicle. Democracy Hub demo, police acted with decency, says Alan Cash, but criticizes judiciary for abusing judicial discretion to grant bail. Government increases teacher CPD allowance. There's a Bible quotation there.
Yeah.
Ochihene holds Grand Derby for 25th anniversary on October 12.
All right. So that's it for the Chronicle newspaper. Let's go to
the anchor.
Will your uncle hold?
In the storms of Ghana, when the CD broke jail long time ago. Yankwe.
I like that remix. Baumia fever grips Takwa electorate as over 10,000 youth engage him. EC faces NDC at IPAC today, meeting to be telecast live. 2004 year group of Swesconians. Swescon, is that Swedro Secondary School?
Secondary School.
Swesconians. Yeah. That's right. Refurbishes Visual Arts Center, and Akufo-Addo's daughters not involved in Galamsey. And NIA and NHIA roll out registration for kids from 6 to 14 years. What you need to know. So that's all there on Will Your Uncle Who?
Now let's head to the Daily Dispatch. Bring along evidence and data on issues about voters registered to today's meeting. EC dares parties. My results-oriented nature will complement Baumia. That's according to Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh. Akufo-Addo's daughters are not involved in Galamsey. That's according to the Lands Ministry. Democracy Hub Demo Police exhibited high levels of professionalism. GJ President. Yeah, that's it for the Daily Dispatch.
All right, we'll look at the Daily Post now. Mahama promises property rights of spouses bill. At the Women's Manifesto launch, he said this: Mahama fellowships with the clergy, and you'll be overwhelmed if you try anything naughty. Totobi Kwache warns the EC and the MPP. Okay, so that's it for the Daily Post newspaper. Also, NDC will promote responsible mining. That's according to Professor Nana Jane Opokwajiban. So that should effectively do it for the newspaper headlines this morning. And we'll take a break and return with a breakfast review. But before we go, let me remind you that if you like what I am wearing,
authentically authenticated.
Authentically authenticated. I like it.
By the authentic man
himself. The authentic man himself, yeah. So the authentic man, obviously, is the one who provides me with my suits. And if you want to look as dapper as I'm looking this morning, see the way Lily is admiring me this morning because I'm looking fresh. Am I not looking fresh?
Oh, you're looking awesome.
See the way you admire me.
Fresh boy,
because I'm looking fresh. Yeah. Authentic. Authentic. Call Authentic today. Call Authentic on 0243 029494. Yeah, 0243 029494. Call Authentic, and whatever suit you need for whatever occasion, whether it's a tuxedo you want to wear for a wedding or for that dinner event, or you want a regular suit like this to go to work, or you need a special occasion suit, anything you want, just get to Authentic. He's there for ladies as well. So call Authentic, and Authentic will authentify you the way he has authenticated me this morning. Yeah.
So that's it. We take a quick break. When we return, we delve into issues of national interest here on the Breakfast Review.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. The van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter or host in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras
like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts?
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets, and so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with this EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
We're happy to have you tune into GHOne Television this morning, and you can join us on our Facebook live stream. Of course, if you're going out or you're going to be on the move, you can catch the Facebook live stream so that you don't miss any bits of the discussions that we're going to have here in the studio this morning. Just look for GHOne TV on Facebook, like our page, follow us, and let's get interactive also on that social media network. You can also connect with us on X and on Instagram and on YouTube. Just look for GHOne TV and we're good to go. We'll be very happy to have you on board. And my guests are here in the studio for the breakfast review segment. Two of my guests are already seated here in the studio for the breakfast review segment. My third guest is not here yet. So I'm pretty sure he'll make it to the studio and I will hear what he's got to say about the issues that we're discussing this morning. But here today is Mr. GHOne Jantwa. Mr. GHOne Jantwa, of course, we know is one of our regular panelists. You'll always see him here on a nice Tuesday morning. And it's good to see him this morning at the beginning of the month of October. Mr. GHOne Jantwa is a member of the Convention People's Party, and he's a private legal practitioner as well. Mr. Jantwa.
Good morning.
On a day like this, they say what? Happy New Month?
Happy New Month.
Yeah, that's what they say we should.
Today is
1st October.
1st October.
Yes.
Today is 1 year since my auntie passed. President Kufuor's wife, Auntie Teresa. So having a church service for her this morning at President Kufuor's house. So from here, I'll head there. And also, sadly, a very good sister of mine, Doreen Gizzo, Honorable Mike Gizzo's wife, also passed. And her funeral is on the 11th. Sad. Sorry? Yes, sad. But it goes to show us, all these things we are doing and we are struggling for, we will die and take nothing with us. So we should try as much as possible to love ourselves more, help ourselves more, and build a nation, a better nation for everyone. Because currently where we stand, very shaky. Very shaky. Not even only the elections, but Galamsey, which can finish this country for years to come.
Is it not already finishing us?
Well, if we act as a collective, then we would be able to pull the brakes. But if we make other things like politics come into the fray and not act, then for the next 3,000 years, we are going to face a lot of problems. And why do I say 3,000 years? The chemicals that they use in the soil, it takes 3,000 years to be able to rectify it. The chemicals they use in the water, it takes 1,000 years to be able to rectify it. So can you imagine the types of diseases going forward generations are going to face if we do nothing about it now? So for me, that's the challenge.
And we'll get into discussions on this. It's actually one of the very first issues that we're going to tackle. But we also have in the studio Masaud Mahama in his NDC shirt with his initials on it. Very happy to have him here in the studio. He's a member of the NDC's communications team. And Masaud, good morning.
Good morning, Lantam. And I'm happy to see you. Let me say good morning to our senior, Mr. Jantwa, and to our cherished viewers, and a happy new month to all of us. It's 67 days to change. A change that would reset this country.
67 days to change.
67 days, exactly.
You are sure of the change?
Exactly 67 days from today, there will be a change, and that change would lead us to reset this country and to deliver jobs, accountability, and prosperity for all Ghanaians. Let me say a very good morning to the flag bearer and the incoming president of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and his running mate, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, who were in Kumasi yesterday to honor the event of the launch of the NDC's Women's Manifesto. His Excellency took advantage of that occasion to reaffirm his pledge to Ghanaian women, to the women of Ghana. He reiterated his commitment to a 30% quota of appointments for women. He reaffirmed his pledge to establish a women's development bank, a special purpose bank that would seek to advance low-interest loans and other tailored financial services to women-led and women-owned businesses. Because we recognize that women are partners in nation building, that women are the backbone of this economy and this nation. And so our desire and the pledge of His Excellency in our next government is to establish a bank that would support women entrepreneurs in order to empower women. Later today, His Excellency, the President, an incoming President.
He's not the President.
He is a president.
He's not the President.
He is a former president of this country, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, and inshallah, the incoming President of Ghana. Later this morning, he will be joining the clergy and other leaders of the Christian faith to outline his vision for Ghana. That occasion would be a solemn occasion of prayer and intercession to God in order to confirm his word and the words of his prophet, which has already been delivered.
What's that word?
Because the voice of the people is the voice of God.
So the word is that,
and the word is that John Dramani Mahama. And if you are not aware,
it's interesting that you say that, because
if you are not aware, let me tell you.
Latest polls from Outcomes International have shown that Dr. Bawumia, who is a presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party, will emerge with the highest percentage of votes, with the presidential candidate for the NDC, John Mahama, following closely. The poll showed that Dr. Bawumia will garner 49.4% of the votes, while John Mahama will obtain 45.1% of the votes. Less than 1% of the votes will be shared amongst other presidential candidates, while 5.2% of the voters are still undecided. This is latest research from Outcomes International.
Interesting. Lantam, I have
another research from the presidency also predicts that there is going to be a runoff, because there's about, is it 49 or so? This one came from the presidency.
I do not know.
You are so confident that John Mahama is going to win.
I do not know and have not heard of an entity called Outcomes International.
Well, today you are hearing of them.
What I do know is that just this morning, the most credible pool that all of us know about, the pool by Global Info Analytics, released just this morning, has confirmed and reaffirmed what we have always known, that President Mahama will garner 51.1% of the votes cast, as opposed to his closest contender, who is trailing with 37%. And that pool is a confirmation of the voice of the Ghanaian people, who have seen 7 good years, nearly 8 years of hardship, 8 years of retrogression, 8 years of impunity. And so, like I said, His Excellency President Mahama will be conferring with leaders of the Christian faith later this morning. It will be a solemn occasion of prayer and intercession. He will take advantage of the occasion to outline his vision to the nation.
Okay.
And I have no doubt that the word of the prophets, the word of the Almighty God, will be confirmed, because the voice of the people is the voice of God.
Okay. Also in the studio is Enoch Are Afuakwa.
Lantam, stop murdering my name.
Please help me pronounce it well. Is it?
That is Anshiri.
Anshiri?
Yes.
It's Anshiri.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Anshiri Afuakwa.
My uncle is here.
ESQ.
My uncle is here and you are murdering my name like that.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
If you should put Lantam to order.
I'm sorry. ESQ. Let me add the ESQ. ESQ.
Sure.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lantam, and very good morning to yourself and to my uncle and Mahama on the platform.
And
your cherished viewers.
Good morning. Yes. I hope the MPP is very fine this morning.
Oh, the MPP is doing fantastic work. Our leader and flag bearer, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is moving around the constituency, sharing the bold solutions that will propel Ghana into the fourth industrial revolution. And I am amazed and awestruck as to the statistical data that Mahama is churning out on your platform. President Mahama, former President Mahama, since his inception into the politics of Ghana, the presidency, has never secured 51% before. He has never secured 51%.
Yeah, but the polls that he refers to and shows John Mahama leading the
No, he has never.
I'm pretty sure you've seen some.
He has never
polls,
secured 51%
yes,
before.
But he's talking about
so
the
today
polls that have been conducted. Today,
the dead goats.
As it stands on
the dead goats
on the global info
the dead goats
poll.
The dead goats in his coffin will be securing 51%. Certainly, it is not an outcome that reflects the totality of the will of the Ghanaian people. And you should understand that the New Patriotic Party is by far the biggest and largest political party in Ghana. And statistics, data has proven so. That even when we went to opposition in 2009, we never came down below 48%. So if there is any statistical or any outcome in terms of data or survey or so ever, that is putting the New Patriotic Party and its candidate at 37%. You should know that this is an in-house, churned out falsehood. Yes, in-house.
But you know, Global Info Analytics has proven to be credible.
Is it?
Over the years,
I wouldn't
they
go
have proven
in there
to be credible with their predictions and their polls.
I am a researcher.
Researcher. You would agree with that.
I am a researcher, and I wouldn't go into it. Somebody can sit in the comfort of his room, his bedroom, not even his sitting room, and churn out data because of the interest in elections.
Right.
Certainly, he mentioned that he's not heard of Outcomes.
Well, then
before.
Outcomes International can also sit in their room and also.
He mentioned that he has not heard of Outcomes before. Outcome also came out with a particular data. And that is even more closer. So let us leave that to the good people of Ghana.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
the good people of Ghana will decide.
The erosion will show where the footwear is.
Okay. So let's get into the issues, shall we? Because organized labor is meeting today because they had threatened that they were either going to embark on massive demonstrations or they were going to go on strike if the president does not do something about Galamsey. That is what they have said, right? And the Democracy Hub protesters also remain on remand. There are people like Alan Shamanting who have said that the police, did a good job, but the judiciary has abused their powers by deciding that they were going to remand them into prison and police custody for 2 weeks, among other things. All of this is because Galamsey has become a topical issue, and rightly so. Because it needs to be talked about, it needs to be dealt with. It has not been dealt with, and we are suffering the repercussions and the consequences of not being able to effectively deal with Galamsey. Mr. Jantua, let me begin with you on this one. Do you back the calls that organized labor is making, and would you support any decision that organized labor makes to go on strike, for example, because of Galamsey and because the president is not heeding to calls to declare a state of emergency and a ban on mining activities?
What kind of question is that? Did I back the call?
Yes, do you back the call? It's a direct question.
You don't see what is happening in our country today. You don't see the destruction of Galamsey today. So it's a question of backing our call.
Well, there are people who don't agree.
Don't agree to. It's the politicians.
They don't agree to.
It's the politicians in the ruling party who do not agree, and those who are involved in Galamsey. If this were any country, everybody would down their tools. Everybody would down their tools. Because if you have a president who you've elected to take care of the nation, to be a servant for the nation, and he took an oath. Did he not? What did the oath say? That oath he was taking took the oath to protect the country Ghana. Has he protected the country Ghana? Has he protected the country Ghana? Initially, he tried to put certain things in place. Has it worked? Has he been able to review why it didn't work? What are we talking about? Look, I cringe when I hear the Galamsey stories. I cringe when I hear the Galamsey stories and the speed at which it is going. Can you imagine? There were some protesters of Galamsey, I think it was in the Western region. I've forgotten the region. And the police came, saw Shangfans on, I think it was the Tano River, and arrested the protesters because they said they stolen a motorbike with an illegal thing going on, and they didn't even touch them. And you've heard the effects of Galamsey on some of our brothers and sisters in areas like the Western region. You've heard where women in the Western region are trying to use alum to filter the water. They let the water settle underneath a bucket, and then they try and filter the clear, so-called clear water with alum. They drink the water and they are beginning to get rashes on their body. Come on, Lantam. And the president goes to your fraternity's award night, and every speaker at least says something about Galamsey, and he has the opportunity to stand on the podium and says absolutely nothing about it. And you ask MPP people, I've been to election, and Sana Galamsey, you dealing with it. Can you imagine? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. This thing is destroying our water bodies, and it's war.
But are some steps not already being taken by this administration to deal with Galamsey?
Has
You
it?
know that there's a committee that
Has
was
it
set up,
worked?
a 5-member committee led by
What is
the
that
Honorable
committee? That committee.
Albert Kandapa.
That committee is sitting. Is Galamsey still not going on? What are we talking about? There are people who have small-scale mining licenses who are mining in the water bodies. And when we say temporarily ban Galamsey so that we can now come together and see how best we can structure this thing, nobody is talking. And as if MPP people are not Ghanaians, as if police aren't Ghanaians, as if the security service aren't Ghanaians. And you see, this particular threat is not only going to affect those in the rural areas where Galamsey is also going on. The mere fact that our cocoa yield has dropped by half should tell you the challenge that we would have with food. Very soon, we'll be eating Bordia-infested chemicals, Banchi-infested chemicals, yam infested with chemicals. And unfortunately, our health system would not be able to handle the myriad of diseases that are going to happen to us because of Galamsey. Doesn't it worry you? You as a Ghanaian, doesn't it worry you? And we are sitting doing nothing. There can be a collective thing where all of us, MPP, NDC, CPP, PIR, all the parties that are on the ballot, they can't meet and say Galamsey is going to destroy this country. Let's all have one voice in our manifesto to say that we are dead against it and we are going to fight it and collectively fight it. The president is worried about the fact that they lost 10 constituencies, so he decided to be quiet. And every day that is going on, every day makes it difficult to solve. And on Fahon, he doesn't care. I find it strange. Or is it because he has opportunity to go and live abroad? He has the opportunity to import his water. He has the opportunity to import his food. Is that the reason? Because I don't understand it. Why a president who has been voted for twice is silent on such a serious issue. Very soon, visitors are going to stop coming to this country because they cannot trust the water they will drink. Very soon, we are not going to be able to export our raw materials in terms of agricultural goods into, the Western markets, and even in Africa. What are we fighting for? AFTA?
Yeah.
And we are destroying our lands. Everybody works on the land. Everybody needs the land. But if you destroy it, what land will be there? you gradually kill the country. And if President Akufo-Addo is interested in killing Ghanaians, he should go on and keep quiet. He should go on and keep. He cannot tell me that because he set a committee up, Galamsey, we are going to fight Galamsey. It's a collective thing. The way the media has taken charge of it, the way TUC is taking charge of it, Labour News have taken charge, it's a collective thing. He should be even happy that all these institutions are ready to fight. He should bring his hat into the fray and say, okay, I'm going to be the spearhead to lead this fight, and let's fight it together. No, he's quiet.
But has he not done that before?
Has it happened? What do you understand by putting my presidency on the line?
Yeah, he said that.
What do you understand by it? What do you understand? No, what do you understand by it? It's English. What do you understand by it? I'm putting my presidency on the line. Me, as host, as GHOne, I'm putting my host on the line right now, Mr. Janto, for what you said. What does it mean? You are prepared. If you are not able to do what you say you do, you are prepared to step down. Isn't that what it means? Mm-hmm. Did he step down? Has he solved Galamsey?
He took some action.
He's the arrowhead.
Yes, that it seems like the action didn't yield any proper results.
So, did you win or did you fail?
But in the beginning,
did you win or did you fail? When he banned small-scale mining, wasn't the water body, didn't it start to recover?
Yes.
So why did he unban it? Why did he unban it? We have to ban small-scale mining for a certain duration of time to make sure that we can put this together. Look, Galamsey is a profitable business. It is a business. If it is structured well, it will create lots of employment. It's the structure. Is he not interested in doing that? Is he not? And because of party politics, everybody's got MPP. You go on radio stations with them, you know, they say after election. What if after election you don't have a country to rule? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And unfortunately, members of MPP, they know what the rot is and they are quiet. My brother here, it's quiet. You come and talk plenty. The country is dying. And when you read the UN resolutions, it states that an attack on a water body is an attack of war. Now, the Galamseyers, don't they have guns? So gradually, a guerrilla movement is beginning to build up. What does that mean? If you are not careful, what we have in the Sahelian area, where you have terrorists there, because gold is money, they will come in too and bring their heavy guns. And if we don't have an army that is capable, because now we can control it, but then when they bring their heavy guns in, it's going to be very, very difficult. So we need to start it now on a collective basis. President Akufo-Addo, the last few months you've got left, start something that would bring all of us together to fight this menace.
All right, Enoch, let me bring you into the conversation now. I mean, you've heard the sentiments of Mr. Jones, where an organized labor say they won't budge. The president must declare state of emergency. We must put a stop to mining activities in these mining areas, and we must look at the proper way forward with regard to dealing with Galamsey. Otherwise, strike or demonstrations. This is what organized labor said, and today they are meeting over that.
Yeah. Lantam, let me say a very good morning to yourself again, and extend the greetings of His Excellency, the Vice President, and who is also the President in waiting of the Republic of Ghana, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to the good people of Ghana. I believe that having listened to almost all political parties who are contesting in the December presidential elections, I find the policy direction of Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to curb and nip the issue of illegal mining in the back, the strong proposition that should resonate with the good people of Ghana, his interest of bringing the Mineral Development Bank to inject capital into the industry for Ghanaians to own and create wealth as far as our natural resources are concerned is a good thing to go. His proposal to invest more into exploration activities to identify more gold belts that will enhance the production of minerals in Ghana. And granted, Lantam, it is no secret that now the Ghanaian has a hidden expertise as far as mining is concerned. And when you take the West Africa sub-region here, if you want a country that has enormous expertise in mining, you cannot take away a country that we live in and belong to, called Ghana. Ghanaians have explored their talents in other countries in Africa. When you go to Tanzania, Frida Rebecca mines and the likes, people from Obuasi, Takwa and the likes have worked in almost all these mines, so in Mali and other areas, having opened up the frontiers of mining in Africa. We have a canker. And what is our neck now is an age-old canker that we are trying to resolve as a country. Almost successive governments in the Fourth Republic, since President Rawlings' era after the passage of the small-scale mining ordinance in 1989, have had the calls to fight illegal mining or galamsey in their regime one way or the other. The use of militarization and brute force up to the time of President Akufo-Addo has proven that that is not the way to go. President Rawlings used the military, used the police in fighting illegal mining. It was not sustainable. President Kufuor followed suit. It was not sustainable. President Atamelt tried again. He was not successful. President Mahama in 2013 established the Interministerial Committee to fight against illegal mining with the deportation of over 1,000 Chinese miners as figures were churned out. It was not successful. The activism against illegal mining started as far back as 2015, 2016 when the canker became so unbearable for the people of Ghana. Now in 2017, I think in March 2017, the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining started the major broad-based activism to galvanize support in the fight against illegal mining. President Akufo-Addo demonstrated a strong political will against the menace of illegal mining by putting his presidency on the line, as amply stated by Ofajanto on this platform. It is no secret. He established the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Galam Stop and Operation Vanguard, injected capital, placed a moratorium on all forms of small-scale mining in Ghana, vetted, introduced a multilateral mine integrated project where other livelihood support and improvement support programs were added. Training of small-scale miners were done through the University of Mines and Technology in Takwa, and a whole lot of interventions were put in place. The moratorium was extended. It lasted for almost 2 years before the ban was lifted. Lantam, there is a livelihood matter, because the issue of mining is a livelihood matter because it borders on the economy of our country.
So what did all of that come to?
I'm coming.
I mean, that's the question.
It's an environmental matter.
You mentioned all of these things that were done.
No, if you allow me.
No,
if you allow me.
What is the state?
If you allow me, because we need solutions. It is not a political situation. We need solutions. If we want to do politics with galamsey, we want to do politics with small-scale mining, then it means our nation has no future.
But that's what some of your
no, it means that our nation has no future. If you want to do politics with it, and leave the mining sector for the foreign investors to always take away our mineral resources and leave us with a penny, 10% free carried interest, as has always been the regime in our country, then our country has no future. Then we should say that we should ban the exploitation of minerals in Ghana and keep it for posterity to come and inherit. Some of your people are already
doing politics with it. You know, there are some saying that yes, illegal mining is bad for us, but you polluted the waters more than us. We've heard those statements be made in Parliament. We've also heard, another one say that if they think that we are going to stop mining, we are not going to stop mining because elections are coming. I mean, we are hearing all of these things. We are hearing people say that they are intentionally making mining an issue and paying people to talk about it because the elections are coming. They are the same people who are politicizing the thing.
Lantam, I am always in pain because I was born and bred in a mining town. I am from Obuasi, and Obuasi is mining, and mining is Obuasi. So when I see people engaging in brute politics with the issue of mining, I sometimes feel that do we belong to a collective nation called Ghana? Because in all sectors, why is mining under attack? We can single out the issue of mining because of its environmental degradation. Why have we used militarization, conviction? Go to our prisons and see the number of people who have been incarcerated and serving jail terms on the basis of engaging in illegal mining in this country. Thousands of them. Has it stopped the issue of illegal mining in Ghana? The burning of excavators and those things. That even others were criticizing government of burning excavators, using that as a deterrence principle. Has it stopped the issue of illegal mining? So if all of these brute forces are not giving us the needed recovery that we need as a country, then we must also look at the alternatives. And the alternative now is that Currently, when you go to these mining areas, the Wasa areas, the Sefi areas, and the like, the people are engaging in what we call the one leg and small China and shootings and those kind of things because they don't have the capital to invest in mining. And these things, if they organize and get one excavator to just bring out the sand or the particles, they just use pumping machines to shoot them on the bare floor. And these silt and sediments just drain into our water bodies.
Yeah.
And where they are sitting and doing these things, when you chase them out, when you go, they just run away because they have nothing to lose. They have no asset on that on those concessions. These lands belong to adults. These lands belongs to paramount chiefs, belongs to stools, belongs to families, belong to individuals. These farms that have been evacuated, that have been destroyed for the purpose of illegal mining, are farms of people. Can you just enter somebody's farm and just begin to mine? Can you just enter somebody's land and begin to just construct or develop the land? Certainly no. So it tells you that the issue of illegal mining or the issue of mining is a collective thing that we must put politics aside and have a national debate and consensus on these matters.
Is that not what organized labor is calling for?
What organized labor?
Exactly what organized labor.
What organized labor is calling for?
Let's have a
strike action.
Absolutely. Yes. So let's put the organized labor is saying, let's stop all the small scale mining activities and whatever. Let's stop it for now, and then come to the table and let's begin to talk about the solutions while we have stopped it. So while we have stopped it, nobody is mining, our water bodies are improving and everything. And then we come out with the proper solutions to make sure that things stay that way and then the mining is done properly. That's what organized labor is calling for. And there is a reluctance on the part of governments to put a ban on, mining activities.
Government placed almost 2 years of moratorium on small-scale mining. Government organized several dialogues.
We saw the effects of that.
Government organized several dialogues.
Did we not?
Government consulted a lot more stakeholders as far as those menaces were concerned. It is not as if government just woke up one day to say that, yes, I'm placing a moratorium on forms of small-scale mining. Government did a lot of consultations, and through even the period of the moratorium or the ban, government was still consulting and putting in place other stringent measures that will be able to sanitize our environment and to be able to clean our nation, to have peace in our environment so that the economic activity of mining could prevail. It is three-pronged affair: economic, environmental, and social. Now, what we are talking about is the environmental canker, the devastation, the destruction of our water bodies. Lantam, when you move up now here, you could see these small chamfan boats on the Ofin River, on the Pra River. And when you burn it right now, in the next 3-4 hours, you come back, they will just restore it because those things, I'm told, is prone to fire and those kind of things. When you even burn them, they have few parts that they will reassemble and use them in the night. Soldiers were patrolling the Ofin River because there were speedboats procured by government and those kind of things. So, in the days old, we were using the fuel pricing as a political tool that political parties were using. Petrol, a top gallon, say how much is a gallon of petrol, how much is a gallon of diesel. But now we have all come to the realization that the issue of petrol, oil, and the likes cannot be used as a political tool anymore. We've come to realize, we've adopted that, and no politician today is using that. I believe that is the way to go, that the issue of mining will be discussed apolitically, so that as we are creating jobs, as people are also using their expertise to be able to create jobs and create the wealth that we desire as a nation, we should be able to also protect our environment. And environmental protection is what Dr. Bawumia, I believe, the proposal that he has put forth, growing up in a mining town and knowing what the people need, and knowing what will require and what the people will be able to acquire and get to be able to do responsible mining, is to be able to inject capital in this in the issue of mining, so that our people who have the expertise to do mining, because now they are exposed. Lantam, you sit here for a month, and probably what you take home is what somebody takes home in a day from mining. And when you are bringing that person out, even if you ask the person to come and sit here and be the host of GHOne Morning Show, the person, considering the remuneration and the condition of service, will decide that no, because of what the person is exposed to as far as mining is concerned. When government established the MMIP program, the Alternative Livelihood Project at Kwame Prakrom in the Upper Denchira East Municipality, where they were giving them seedlings to plant, oil palm seedlings, cocoa seedlings, and the likes. Massive seedling plantation over the nursery sort of setup over there. How many people patronize the service of these things? Because they feel that it takes years or it takes time before this regenerate. But when they go back to the butchers and the trenches, they get their revenues and they get their monies upfront. So I believe that what Dr. Bawumia is proposing, that yes, we should conduct more exploration and to be able to identify viable lands, to be able to allow our people, instead of doing this pick and choose type of mining services and destroying our lands and water bodies, we'll be able to concentrate and focus on areas that are viable, to be able to create the jobs, create the wealth, and retain the money in our republic for the benefit of the good people of Ghana. Again, the proposal of bringing in the Natural Resource Bank or the Mineral Resource Bank is a good thing to go to be able to inject capital, inject machinery, and also ensure that people conduct responsible mining. And the issue of decentralizing the Minerals Commission, which is currently ongoing, and further decentralized to be able to cover all the 16 mining regions and districts in this country, is a further tool to enhance that. We have mining inspectors who will go on site and be able to inspect and monitor that the people conduct responsible mining while they have been giving capital adequacy.
These are plans
training.
that Dr. Bawumia has.
Absolutely, and I believe this is the way to go.
Can we not start implementing those things now?
Oh yes, recently the president.
Even before, or do we have to wait for him to become president?
No,
before
currently
we do that?
the president tasked the Lands Natural Resource Minister to act on the issue of illegal mining and the like. The
So what
minister
is
has
he
started
doing?
consultations.
Yeah,
met the regional ministers. No, met the regional ministers, and strong directives have been given them. They have met the National House of Chiefs and other major stakeholders.
So what are
in
the
this regard.
directions? What is being done currently about the illegal mining now, as we speak now? What is being done
that
about it?
People are moved off the water bodies. People are doing who are not doing responsible mining ought to be stopped. And those kind of things.
So is that happening? Are they
yes, it's
being
happening.
stopped?
It's happening. We are in Accra. You can take your cameras. When we close, we can take your cameras. I join you. We go to areas where mining is and see whether these directions, a directive given by government and the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, are being implemented in totality. I believe that organized labor should take their time. We cannot solve a problem with another problem, because when organized labor, when there's a strike asset from organized labor, it is the nation that suffers. We want to build a formidable nation. We have gone through enough. Judging from what we came out from in the COVID-19 era, the Russia-Ukraine impasse, and the status of our economic situation as a country, we cannot run our country down because of an issue that we can set up and put up a Jojo and put up a formidable position that will be able to salvage the situation. And Lantam, let me state here and state it clearly that the issue of mining should be discussed apolitically. Anyone who wants to do politics with mining is not helping in the matter.
Who are politicizing
and we must fight it. I am directed. I am telling the Association of Small Scale Miners in the National Association of Small Scale Miners, they should talk. It is not all small scale miners who are doing irresponsible mining. There are other small scale miners doing responsible mining. And Lantam, the small ones who have no capital, who have no assets, who have no equipment to be able to invest well, are doing what we call the one leg mining in water bodies and using the champagnes and the dredging boats on our water bodies and destroying our flora and fauna. We should be able to smoke them out and make sure that once we establish more of these community mining schemes with these abandoned mine shafts of other large-scale mining companies, we can put them together as a unit and be able to make sure that we train them well, we guide them, we give them what the tools that they need to be able to mine responsibly, so that they also can get work to do and be able to invest whatever that they have in the republic, that the people of Ghana can get benefit as a result of the mining that we have. It is painful to do politics with the livelihood of others, but it's also painful that we destroy the flora and fauna to affect the issue of today and that of posterity.
Let me come to Masaoud.
Let us all reason up and be able to find a solution to this problem.
Masaoud, let me come to Masaoud.
Am I going to be able to get to speak at all?
Don't worry, you speak. Masaoud, let me hear what you've got to say about this. Do you support organized labor? And then talks about the politicization, which you politicians are guilty of doing.
Afoka here, Enoch, has spent nearly 30 minutes waxing lyrical about everything about Lantam. The long and short of it is that Ghana is facing an environmental genocide, a self-inflicted environmental genocide that is threatening to consume all of us if nothing is done about it. Let me commend organized labor and UTAG, the Ghana Medical Association, and all other bodies that have risen to the task. They have woken up to their responsibilities to be citizens, because after all, the president urged us to be citizens, isn't so? And
citizens and not spectators.
They are being citizens and not subject. But let me submit here that any discussion about illegal mining, that is not linked to kicking out this reckless, this irresponsible, and this criminally complicit Akufo-Addo-Bawumia MPP government out of power is an exercise in futility. Let me repeat that again. I am saying that any such discussion about the menace of illegal mining or galamsey that is facing Ghana today, that is not linked to kicking out this criminally complicit Akufo-Addo-Bawumia MPP government, is doomed to fail, and it's an exercise in futility. Why do I say so? The increased rate of illegal mining that we find today in our country is the result of state-backed and state-led complicity. And I'll demonstrate that to you. Only this week, events this week have confirmed the fact that there was never a fight, a genuine fight against illegal mining. I'm sure you, Lantam, and your other colleagues in the media fraternity are very disappointed that on the occasion of the awards night of the Ghana Journalists Association, where speaker after speaker, including the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, mounted the platform, even their invited guest, who is not a Ghanaian, found occasion to speak forcefully about the need to nip this canker in the bud. And I'm talking about the canker of illegal mining. What did we see? I'm sure you've seen a video of the president's reaction to the president of the GHOne after he made his remarks and came to assume his seat. The president clearly was not enthused. He was not happy that the president of the Ghana Journalists Association dared to speak and call him out on galamsey. And he expressed it openly on national television. And we have all seen the video.
Well, we don't know what the president was telling the GHOne.
Well,
I mean,
you can make of it what you can make of it. You can make of it what you want.
Saw what was why we didn't hear sound.
Tell us what you heard.
And
We didn't hear sounds.
You can make of it what you want. But the fact remains that
tell us what
President Akufo-Addo failed to utter a word whatsoever about the most imminent threat to our existence as Ghanaians, the most topical issue in this country for many weeks. The president could not utter a word. But that does not surprise me, because we know that his words that he was prepared, I am prepared to put my presidency on the line for this fight, meant nothing. And that all of that charade was a calculated ruse to enable officials of his government and his party to appropriate the illicit business for themselves. Why do I say so? Only this week, you have heard what the coordinator, the middle belt coordinator of the Bawumia campaign, I'm talking about Dr. Ayu Afriye, who happens to be the chairman of the Health Committee of Parliament, mount the platform while addressing MPP folks and tell the whole nation that we will not stop galamsey today and we are not stopping it tomorrow, and that some people are the ones behind other people to make a meal out of an issue that is no issue. And that all of us in this studio, including the Ghana Medical Association, the UTAC, TUC, all of us in Accra, who are calling for something to be done about this fight, know nothing about what we are talking about. And that they are not going to fight galamsey today, and they will not fight it tomorrow. Aside him, we have also heard Mrekuduka, MP for Takwa Isuem, Deputy Minister Lands, who also happens to be the coordinator of the Bawumia campaign for mining. He also has stated emphatically that this government, as long as they remain in power, will not fight galamsey today, they will not fight galamsey tomorrow, and that all of us can go to hell. These proclamations coupled with the non-action, absolute non-action of the president, he's not interested, go to buttress one thing and only one thing: that there was never a genuine fight against Galamsey in the first place.
Is the NDC genuinely interested in fighting Galamsey as well?
And Lantam.
Because, I mean, you make mention of these individuals who have said this, yes, and we've heard them say it. But of course, there are people within the NDC, we remember, who, went to mining areas and were telling people that, look, when we come into office, we'll let you go back and go and do your
Lantam.
I mean, in these mining areas, say those things.
Lantam.
So, I mean, the NDC cannot absorb themselves of the blame of also politicizing the Galamsey and trying to use it to their political advantage.
Lantam,
you are equally guilty.
The confessions we have heard from high-ups in the New Patriotic Party, including managers of the Baumia campaign, go to confirm one thing: that there was never a genuine fight. And indeed, go to corroborate the 33-page report by Professor Frimpong Boateng, who was the chairman of the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining. In that report, you would recall that he stated emphatically that at a time when there was a supposed ban on mining, illegal mining, small-scale mining, Chinese gangs, and those are his words, not my words, Chinese gangs were brought into this country, aided by government officials, and he gave names: Charles Nite Kotegu, Captain Koda, and a host of them, aided these Chinese gangs to raid our forests when there was a supposed ban on illegal mining, and embarked on the most devastating destruction that you would ever witness. Let me share some staggering statistics with you. Do you know that from 1992 to 2009, only five permits were granted to companies to mine in forest reserves? I'm talking about forest reserves. In just 1 year, between 2022 and 2023, as many as 10 permits have been granted to companies to mine in forest reserves. And mind you, forest reserves are classified as sanctuaries. Some are classified as globally significant biodiversity areas. And so we are talking about a situation where from 1992 to 2009, only 5 permits were granted to mine in forest reserves. In just a year, 2022, 2023, 10 permits were granted. That aside, since 1992, all the way to the year 2016, when the NDC exited office, could you believe, Lantam, that a total of 56 mining licenses, small-scale mining licenses, were granted to small-scale miners? 56. What have we witnessed over the period that President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia have been in office? Since 2017, a whopping 1,503 permits have been granted to small-scale miners to enter into forest reserves, some of them forest reserves, and plunder this country, pollute our water bodies, and destroy our lands. And that goes to buttress the point that some have made, that any president worth his salt who claims to be willing to put his presidency on the line to fight Galamsey would not champion an ally, 2462, that seeks to declassify forest reserves and completely allow people into these forest reserves to go and mine and engage in illegal activity, including the famous Achimota Forest Reserve. Of course, you would hear some try to equalize by saying that the opposition was in parliament when that LI was passed. And that argument is very laughable. Because LIs, legislative instruments, are brought by certain governments. Of course, the opposition has a watchdog role to play. But the opposition may not always succeed in stopping government action as regards the laying of LIs. I know the fight that went into stopping the LI against import restrictions. It was not an easy fight because I work in Parliament. And so to suggest that the opposition has every means to stop government action as regards protection of our water bodies and forest reserves is an error. And indeed, we should lay the blame squarely where the blame ought to be laid. To the extent that any president who promises to put his presidency on the line would table such an ally that seeks to declassify forest reserves speaks volumes. It speaks volumes about their complicity in the destruction of our forest reserves.
So what is the NDC's position?
This is the NDC's
on what organized labor is saying about putting a ban on mining activities and finding proper solutions.
Our position
what was the NDC's position?
Our position is that this government has had 8 good years to fight illegal mining. They have failed. What would they do in 67 days? What would a state of emergency do in 67 days?
Yeah, we know.
We have spent.
We know that you say the government has failed.
Lantam,
you have for the past
this country has
number of
spent,
minutes expressed that.
This
now
country,
I'm asking you in the NDC, organized labor is saying President Akufo-Addo should place a ban, declare state of emergency. Otherwise, they go on strike. What is your position on that? Do you support that position by organized labor that must be done? Do you support it?
Our position.
That's the question.
Our position on
the NDC
that.
Position.
The NDC's position on that is that if that exercise, any such exercise, a ban, be it a state of emergency, be it whatsoever, is not linked to the kicking out of this government, this complicit and criminally irresponsible and reckless government, then it will be an exercise in futility. Lantam, we have spent billions on Operation Galamstop, Operation Halt, Operation Vanguard. We have spent billions of cedis on procuring drones. We have spent billions of cedis on keeping soldiers in forest reserves who ostensibly tend to protect illegal miners. What would 67 days do? The only solution, the only way that we can win this fight against capitalism is to kick out this reckless bunch of nations.
You've not answered my question. You've not answered my question.
Let me tell you about what the NDC promises to
What's the NDC's position on what organized labor's position? You are not answering that.
I have expressed that. I have espoused that position here. I am saying that a ban, whatsoever you call it, in 67 days, a state of emergency, is going to achieve little in stopping the state-sponsored plundering and destruction of our forest reserves, as long as this government stays in government.
So you don't support a ban?
A ban or whatever
you don't support a ban,
must be linked.
A state of emergency declared for some time, and then let's begin looking at what we can do.
President Mohammed has said.
You don't support.
President Mohammed has said that when we win, we will place a ban on irresponsible mining in forest reserves. We will place a ban on the granting of new leases. And then we would take steps to amend the Minerals and Mining Act to impose stiffer punishment on people who mine on waterbeds. Those are pragmatic and workable solutions that would nip this canker in the bud. We have also promised that through our Blue Water and Tree for Life initiatives, we will embark on a drive to reclaim all degraded lands and reclaim all polluted water bodies by turning these degraded areas into ecological zones, planting economically viable species such as palm, cocoa, rubber, and etc. But of course, that will be preceded by an exercise to flush out all forms of mining, including that undertaken by Akunta Mining and others.
All right.
From forest
so at this point, would you encourage organized labor to embark on their intended actions?
Absolutely. Once it is intended to bring some form of pressure to bear on this kind of irresponsible leadership paralysis that we have seen that has brought us, all of us, under threat. We in the NDC are promising that we will take small-scale miners through training to equip them with the skills and the knowledge to enable them mine responsibly.
All right, very well.
And so, let me reiterate the point again, that organized labor is alive to their responsibilities. They are being citizens, but any exercise that is not linked to kicking out this government from office will be an exercise in futility.
All right, very well. We would have to move on to our next issue, but I think it's fair to give a minute each to conclude on this. So, Mr. Johnson, let me come.
You want to digest it?
Yes, so
you had 30 minutes.
Let's move on.
You had 30 minutes and you said nothing. What is there to digest again?
Just a minute each to all of you to wrap up on this issue.
You had 30 minutes waxing lyrical. You said nothing. So what are you going to do? What do you have to digest?
Lyrical theatrics.
Gentlemen, please. Let Mr. Johnson.
What is there to digest again?
Isn't it sad what we've heard from the two
from the NDC, not the two.
From the ruling party? Isn't it sad? Vice President Baumia is still in power. He's not outside power. He's still in power. The problem is in real time today. We've got to wait for him to come to power first. Is that what they're telling us? He's not an opposition leader. And I hear my brother from NDC also speak. Come on. We can attack this particular issue by attacking those who are financing Galamsey. Have you heard any of them talk about going after the financiers of Galamsey? Have we caught even one financier of Galamsey? Have we? If you kill the source of money into Galamsey, will it not stop? Those.
Well, they say GHOne.
Listen. Please. Don't let me go in. Don't let me go into GHOne. If GHOne hadn't come back to Ghana, we wouldn't have been able to arrest her.
That's true.
It was the NPP who said, "Hey, our relationship with China, so we can't do this thing. Let her go." And she, because of her own, she felt she had network in this country, came back. We are not interested in attacking those who are financing Galamsey. And politicians are part and parcel of financing Galamsey. That's why we cannot attack those who are financing it. And you see, the Electoral Commission is doing us a big disservice. Big disservice. Isn't it the responsibility of the Electoral Commission to find out how political parties fund themselves? Isn't that a responsibility? Isn't the responsibility of the Electoral Commission to know how politicians are financing themselves? The Speaker indicated to us that politicians in Parliament, some of them are doing Galamsey. Isn't it up to him to make sure that we question politicians? What are we scared of? I don't understand it. What are we scared of? Why are we skirting around the issue instead of headlong hitting it? Wouldn't it have been a good idea? The GHOne, President Akufo-Addo, come and stand on the podium and tell everybody, the country, I've heard what you're saying. From tomorrow, we are going to do this collectively. We are going to do this collectively. Labour says they are going on strike. This one says they are going on strike. The opposition is saying this. Okay, we are all going to sit around the table and come to a conclusion on how we saw this. Did he do it? He was rather annoyed. Is the country his? Does he own the country? People have put him in place to do what? To serve. And when the media, who are the focus of the people, are telling you, you get annoyed. Let's go on. Right. Look, I've got 40 years to live. Oh. My father lived to 102. So if anything at all, I'll get 100. These young ones, and our children's children, you young ones, that is where you will feel the effects of Galamsey if we do not think about it now.
All right, Enoch, let me come to you now, for 2 minutes. 2 minutes on this.
Thank you very much.
Wrap up on that.
You see, my brother here came to the studio to wax lyrical, as he told me earlier on. I was fearing in my mind that he was going to give a definite position of the NDC as far as banning all forms of small-scale mining in Ghana is concerned. But when you asked him and prompted him several, you've done a fantastic job for the good people of Ghana this morning. You have exposed the position of the NDC, that their position against Galamsey is political, because they know that when livelihoods are attacked, it will inure to their benefit. I wanted them to state their position, that yes, they support, or they are in full support of a total ban on all forms of small-scale mining in Ghana. But he failed to disclose the position of the NDC. I am challenging the flag bearer of the NDC, who has been the former president of this republic, to state a definite position of the NDC and his personal position on the ban against all forms of small-scale mining in Ghana. Lantam, we cannot continue the politicization of small-scale mining in Ghana. Never in our days. We cannot let this continue. And I am speaking directly into the National Association of Small-Scale Miners in Ghana, that you should speak up. You should speak up. It is not all of you. It is not all of you engaging in illegal mining. It is not all of you engaging in irresponsible mining. Those engaging in irresponsible mining, you must speak up. And again, I have sent you a video of some NDC apparatchiks. My own Leonard Senior, Honorable Yunus Afuseni, I admire him so much. His position on Galamsey in Ghana, when he was asked, when he was probed whether they were going to ban Galamsey, he said over 2 million are involved in Galamsey, and that they are going directly after foreigners who are engaged in illegal mining. I wanted you to play this to the hearing of the good people of your viewers on this platform. So you see, the reason I have stated forcefully on your platform that the issue of small-scale mining should not be a political subject, but should be a national discourse where we find solution to the environmental degradation that it has occasioned us, so that at the end of the day, people can apply their livelihood, we can sustain the social cohesion, and also preserve our natural environment for the benefit of us.
So essentially, you are saying a ban is not the way to go. So
the ban is not the way to go.
You
We
don't
have tried
support
it.
what organized labor is
No.
saying.
We have tried it. We never succeeded.
You don't support it.
We have tried over 2-year moratorium.
All right.
We never succeeded. We never healed the issue of illegal mining. Why must we go back to a ban?
All right, let me come back to you, Masaoud, for the next 2 minutes.
Lantam, I don't know if Enoch was present here when I was speaking.
Oh, I was present.
And
Mama, I was just sitting right by your side.
Let me tell him to stop being delusional, because the issue of tackling illegal mining is a leadership issue. It is a matter of political will. And so if somebody tells you that I am prepared to put my presidency on the line and does not do it, you have every right to call him out and to call on the Ghanaian people to vote them out. Let me reaffirm the position of the NDC on this platform, if he was not present. I have said that we have promised in our Resetting Ghana manifesto here, which I have reiterated.
The current position,
we
no
will,
manifesto promise.
Please, you had
that you will?
That the NDC, the next NDC government, will place a ban on the granting of new mining leases, and a ban on all forms of mining in forest reserves. That in itself is a moratorium. That is in itself a measure to enable us to take steps to reclaim and correct the mess that his failed president and vice president and government have created. I have also said on this platform that contrary to the free-for-all engagement of government officials, including high-ups in the government, security coordinator to the president, assistant to the chief of staff, Frank Asiedu-Bekoe, and others, and NPP officials, high-ups in all forms of illegal mining. President Mahama has vowed that no government official, no official of his government, will be allowed to engage in any form of mining, be it illegal or legal mining. Right. If you want to go to mining, then you better go into mining, because government officials who want to undertake mining will have no place, absolutely no place in the next government of President.
Very well, thank you.
And so we are distinctively
You're still watching GH Today here on GHOne Television. We will take a short break and return. And when we return, there are quite a number of other issues that we're going to get in here. We're going to get into here on GH Today, of course. We want to dovetail into the EC and the NDC and their back and forth about whether or not a forensic audit should be done on the register. There's going to be an IPAC meeting today where the NDC will present their evidence. We'll talk a little bit about that when we return from the break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is GH Today. You're welcome back. Welcome to GH Today here on GHOne Television. If you're just joining us, we're very happy to have you on board. We're on the Breakfast Review segment. My guests in the studio, Masaud Mahama is a member of the NDC's communications team. Enoch Afuakwa is a member of the NPP's communications team. Enoch Afuakwa, ESQ, is a paralegal practitioner as well. And of course, Mr. Kwame Jantwa is here. He is a member of the CPP. We've been talking about Galamsey. Now, I want to switch our attention to the NDC and concerns they have with regard to the voters register. Masaud, I'll begin with you on this one because you've been complaining about the credibility of the register. You do not trust that the register is credible. The EC has asked you consistently to present whatever evidence it is that you have, and it would seem as though you have not been very forthcoming with that evidence. Thankfully, today there's going to be an IPAC meeting, right?
Yes.
And you're going to be doing some sort of presentation.
Yes, Lantam. Finally, the Electoral Commission, the G Mensa was Manasari-led Electoral Commission, has found reason amidst all the calls for a forensic audit, independent forensic audit of the deliberately orchestrated error-prone irregularities and infractions in the 2024 Provisional Voters Register. All those calls seem to have fallen on deaf ears from the NDC, from civil society, from watchers of our democracy, from other major stakeholders seem to have fallen on deaf ears because we have an electoral commission that posits itself as a regime electoral commission bent on skewing the upcoming elections in one direction and not manifesting the will of the Ghanaian people. So today's IPAC meeting, does it signal that finally there has been a change of heart and a change of course by these partisan commissioners at the Electoral Commission? I don't think so. But it is an opportunity to let the whole world know, including other political parties and our development partners, the media, and thank God they have agreed, finally, to telecast it live.
Yes.
And all Ghanaians know about the scale of irregularities, deliberately orchestrated irregularities.
Deliberately orchestrated?
Yes.
How is it deliberately
I will
orchestrated?
demonstrate that to you in the 2024 Provisional Voters Register, which the EC wants to shove down the throats of political parties, including the NDC, and the Ghanaian people, in order to skew the outcome of the election. I have no doubt whatsoever that at the end of today's IPAC meeting, it will become even clearer and even compelling to all of us, including our development partners, including other political parties, all of us Ghanaians, that the 2024 Provisional Voters Register must be subjected to a forensic audit. But let me say this, that today's IPAC meeting is without prejudice. It is without prejudice to our call for an independent forensic audit. What this means is that we still stand by that call. And post today's meeting, we will still do everything possible to ensure that the 2024 Provisional Voters Register is subjected to a forensic audit. Now let me take you through some of the particularities of the issues that we have raised with the register. We are talking about a provisional voters register, barely 64 days to elections, in which 243,000 people, Lantam, 243,000 people who were captured as having transferred their votes in 2020 have been added to the 2024 Provisional Voters Register transfer list, thereby effectively bloating the register by a whopping 243,000. We are talking about a provisional voters register. And mind you, the voters register is the foundation of free, fair, credible, and transparent elections. Any election worth is sought that is not grounded on a credible voters register that is accepted by all the players in that election is bound to produce a flawed outcome. We are talking about a register in which 15,000 people, Lantam, have been captured as having transferred their votes. And when we did our due diligence, we realized that there are absolutely no traceable paths, transfer paths for these 15,000 people.
Okay.
So we don't know where they have been transferred from. Essentially, they said 15,000 people have been transferred. There are no transfer paths. We don't know where the people have been transferred from. We are talking about a voters register in which 3,957 people who were in the 2023 voters register. Mind you, last year there was a limited registration exercise. In that exercise, and in the registers that were presented to political parties as of last year, 3,957 people whose names were on that register last year cannot be found in the 2024 provisional voters register. We are talking about a register that will be used for the conduct of the 2024 elections, in which 2,094 people, right, are said to have transferred their votes. But their names, the names of these 2,094 people, cannot be found in the absent list. What does this absent list mean? It simply means that this area is under Kolikolote. So you, Lantam, you are said to have transferred your vote from Osu Kolikolote to Ayawaso West Wagon. And so your name will be captured as part of the absent list for Osu Kolikolote because you have transferred from Osu Kolikolote to Ayawaso West Wagon. But in this case, your name is not part of the absent list. And we are saying that that poses a significant risk. And so if you put all of these infractions together, you are talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of voters who potentially will be disenfranchised. And what has been the response of the Electoral Commission? Stonewalling. They said that when did the NDC realize that a voters register could be compromised? Because in 2016, there were plants and animals on the voters roll. They go on to say that, yes, we admit that the register may not be perfect, but we are opposed to a forensic audit. We are saying, what is there to hide? What is there to hide if you admit that the register is not perfect? If you admit that a register could be prone to error and infractions because it is a human activity. And we believe that that is a deliberate human orchestration. And yet, at the same time, you have admitted, and yet you are saying that there will not be an audit because you will not allow a third party. And the strangest of it all is our friends in the New Patriotic Party who have jumped onto the fray. A player in this election, yes, right? A political party interested in winning an election jumped onto the fray saying that, okay, these errors could have been occasioned. We have also identified errors, but we are opposed to any forensic audit of the register, and we will not allow it today, and we will not allow it tomorrow.
Is it not interesting?
Goodness me. Mr. Jankla, where would you ever hear this kind of logic? That the Electoral Commission admits that, yes, the register is not foolproof, it could have errors, but we are opposed to an audit. That the New Patriotic Party also admits to their General Secretary that they have also identified errors with the register, but they will not allow an audit, simply because they are opposed to a third party interfering in the affairs of the Electoral Commission. Since when? We were in this country in 2016, prior to the election, when our friends went on a frolic saying that they had identified 78,000 Togolese on the register. They made the whole world believe that indeed there were Togolese and other foreigners on the register. The Electoral Commission said, okay, bring your evidence to an independent body that we have set up, led by the late Justice V.R.C.A. to look into the issue. They looked into the issues, and it turned out that they were on a wild goose chase. They had led all of us on a wild goose chase. So we are saying that if there is nothing to hide, then let us get an independent body to conduct this forensic audit. And let us put the issues to rest.
Okay.
Of course, if at the end of the day, it is found that our claims are frivolous, then we will have X on our faces. But if it is found that indeed the issues that we have raised with the register are germane and can potentially compromise the outcome of this election, then you have to correct those issues. And so we are standing on our ground that irrespective of today's IPAC meeting, which of course is an absolutely fantastic opportunity because the whole world will get to know the scale of infractions that we have been talking about. Right. Irrespective of today's meeting, our call for an independent forensic audit of the voters register still stands, and that has to happen.
Okay. Enoch, let me come to you now on this on this issue of the NDC and the issues they have with the voters register.
Yeah, Lantam, I'm completely surprised. And from the baby umbrella, the baby umbrella's position is no different from the senior umbrella's position. When you are failing an election, you begin to criticize certain occurrence. I remember in 2015, the advice given by the former president, who is now the perpetual flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, admonishing the New Patriotic Party and the Let My Vote Count Alliance that we should allow the Electoral Commission to work in accordance with due process and law. I remember the outcome of the late Justice VCRAC Crabs Committee telling us that the Electoral Commission conducts forensic audits or audits of the voters' roll through exhibitions. What has changed? The Supreme Court, in various rulings and judicial pronouncements, have told us that when an enactment provides a procedure through which a certain actions ought to be done, it is through that procedure that those actions are done. It is the position of the New Patriotic Party that, yes, the Electoral Commission, through exhibition, exhibited all the names on the voters' roll in all the 40-something thousand police stations across the length and breadth of this country for prospective voters whose names are on the voters' roll to, one, check whether their names are on the register, two, whether their names have been spelled correctly, three, whether there are some omissions or others to be rectified. This exercise were not done without the instrumentality and the participation of the National Democratic Congress. When I was going around, I saw the NDC agents at various exhibition centers putting vigilance in accordance with their party's position and ensuring that transparency prevails. What has changed? The position of the NDC stating that they have identified 243,000 irregularities on the voters' register. I believe it is just a frivolous, scandalous, and vexatious position of the NDC trying to subject the Electoral Commission to unnecessary political vilification. When he started his introductory remark, he mentioned the Jane Mensah Boswanasare-led partisan Electoral Commission. So it clearly established the intent and purpose of the NDC trying to chastise the Electoral Commission of the Republic of Ghana.
It's not something that the MPP is alien to. That's not something that the MPP is alien to.
We are aware of an Electoral Commission. We are aware of an Electoral Commission who was appointed at a drinking spot, Saba Lodgia. We are aware of an Electoral Commission who was appointed at Saba Lodgia.
Afakwa.
Yes.
Apiahene. The then director
Yes.
of elections for the
Who was
New Patriotic
appointed?
Party in the
And we want to go.
He's a partisan electoral
If you want to go, if you want to go,
you have
if you want to
criticized
go,
the MPP
partisan
is
electoral
known.
commission.
almost all the people working at the electoral
hold on,
commission. We have
hold on.
no Togolese,
Hold on.
we have no
Hold on.
Malian, we have no Burkinabe, we have no Ivorian.
The MPP
They are all
is known-
Ghanaian.
The MPP is known to have criticized the Charlotte Osei Electoral Commission.
But she declared us winners.
Now the NDC
She declared us winners.
What did you do to
is
her?
also criticizing.
No, she declared
what
us
did you do
winners.
to
her when she declared
So
winners?
it is something that you political parties
What
do.
the NDC
So if the NDC
What did you do
what
to
the
her?
NDC should understand.
It's something that
is
you have done before.
You see, we cannot follow
So
them on their
it's something
wild
that you
goose
have done
chase.
before.
Lantam,
and it's very interesting that
let
when the shoe is on the other foot,
let notice be said.
it is good.
Let
But when the
notice-
shoe is not on the foot, it is bad. It's very interesting. The position
Lantam,
that political
let
parties
notice be
and
served to our
political
brothers
party have
and
tested.
sisters in opposition, the NDC, that they cannot force us to follow them on their wild goose chase.
But you have also found a
We believe in due process. We believe that the Electoral Commission has a constitutional duty to perform. And in accordance with that constitutional duty, that sacred constitutional duty, the Constitution placed an injunction on third-party element subjecting the Electoral Commission in accordance with in the performance of their duties, the control and directions of the Electoral Commission. No third party can subject the Electoral Commission on that score. If the NDC is saying that they have identified 243,000 irregularities,
You are a lawyer. Address
the
your mind
EC,
to Article
the
42.
EC is telling them that they should bring all of these to IPAC meeting.
Well, today they'll bring
Today.
it. Yeah.
All the 243,000 irregularities. Again, if they are telling us that 15,000 people who registered as voters cannot find their names on the voters' roll, hey, I don't know that they have a branch of the Electoral
we are
Commission.
saying that there are no
Let me come to Mr. Johnson now.
There are no
where
traceable
they are also
transfers.
Mr.
registering
Johnson.
voters there, and they have cause to say that people who registered legitimately have their names
right, Mr.
off
Johnson.
the voters' roll.
Let me
The
bring you
NDC
into the
is just on a
conversation
wild
now,
goose
Mr.
chase,
Johnson.
and Ghanaians should not take
For your
them as
thoughts
serious political
on these issues.
Dr. Bawumia is winning the
as
elections,
regards
and we
the
pray that
voters
it
register,
materialize in accordance
the
with law and
NDC's
due process.
concerns and the
In your
EC's
dreams.
position.
That can only happen in
Lantam.
your dreams.
It goes to show me that Electoral Commission watches programs like this. Why? From the word go, I asked for an IPAC meeting. I've been saying it for weeks on end.
They're listening to your offer.
So, this IPAC meeting is a good cause. Even the added value there is to televise it live. I think is a good cause. Please, NDC, bring all your encumbrances and whatever you found to the meeting.
We will.
CPP, bring all your encumbrances that you don't think the EC is doing to the meeting. They say they don't have any.
They do.
They say
Their general secretary said they have found errors.
I'm coming there. Movement for change. Bring all your encumbrances. MPP, if you have any, because you've indicated to us that you don't think there should be such a meeting. So if you have any, bring it. And I'll be interested to see what they bring. At least the EC is trying to build confidence, is trying to be transparent, and is trying to have integrity where the people of Ghana is concerned. But, and a big but, there can be issues of rigging. There can be perceptions of rigging. We don't want a situation where one party tries to rig and the other party also now complains and there is mayhem and confusion. So I'll end by saying, Ghanaians, it is in your bosom, all of us, every Ghanaian who is eligible to vote, please, on 7th December, go out in your numbers and vote. So that any political party that wants to rig, the gap between the winner and the loser will be so wide that the rigging won't have any effect. Any party who feels that they want to say, they've cheated us here, they've cheated us there, the gap will be so wide that they can't do it. The litmus test there is that this election can go second round. But if it goes second round, it should be clear. It should be clear. Because you see, the reason why I say it can go second round is because the fight and the heart of this election is in Ashanti region. That is where the fight is.
Well, I think the research department and the presidency agrees with you that there can be a second round.
I don't take research department from the presidency. I don't take that research. Look, for me,
Dr. Isaac Owusu-Mensah,
for me, all
director of research and the presidency.
All these polls and what is going on, I'm not looking at it. Agrone form on 7 December. Period. Everybody, if you do not do your homework well, because everybody here is on the ground. There are some who are conniving and who are looking at rigging. There are some who are also waiting. If we lose, we are going to do X, we are going to do Y. It is in the hands of Ghanaians. Don't say, because this one is doing this, I won't vote. Go and vote. It is your right. We want a clear winner. If it's Vice President Bawumia who is going to win, we want it clear. If it is former President Mahama who is going to win, we want it clear. If it's Chematin who is going to win, we want it clear. If it is my own Frimpoma who is going to win, we want it clear. If it is Cheddar who is going to win, we want it clear. We don't want any ifs or buts. So Ghanaians, it is in your hands. Don't spoil your vote for any party. Go and vote for the one you feel can build this country. Because, Lantam, where we are today, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030 is going to be a challenging time because of where we stand. And we need somebody who will be an arrowhead to build this nation and to build it collectively with Ghanaians, not to build it as a political party that we have broken the 8. So say or not to say, hey, we've come that we've stopped them from doing the 8. So no, we want a collective gathering of Ghanaians, everybody, an arrowhead who will say, the partisanship aside, I have won. Let us build this nation and let us try as much as possible.
Who can do that? Who is the best candidate among the 13 who can do that?
The one the Ghanaians will vote for. I'm telling Ghanaians, look
when you look at the 13,
look at all of them.
Which of them?
You're not going to put me on the spot. I'm not going to answer. Not going to put me on the spot. I'm not going to answer. It's up to Ghanaians.
I mean, he was Dr. Bawumia.
Listen. It's up. I have a party. Don't have a party.
Yes.
So I vote for my leader.
Okay.
It's up to Ghanaians. If apathy sets in, it's going to create confusion. Every Ghanaian, 18 and above, I beg you, go and vote on the day. The shenanigans starts, and this is where we should open our eyes very, very well and make sure that the figures that come out from the polling station are the figures that end up at the Electoral Commission. The figures that come out. If an electoral commissioner can announce a presidential election 3 or 4 or 5 times, then there is a possibility there can be rigging down the line. There's that possibility there. And it's up to the Electoral Commission to show integrity, to show confidence, to show trust in the people of Ghana that they are there to do a good job.
Right. Very well. Let's move on because of time. Let's move on. Let's move on. Don't worry. Later on today, you'll be at IPAC, so I think everything will be said. But let's move on. Let's move on to the next issue. There has been a tariff adjustment by the PURC, right? And it means that we're going to essentially pay more for water and pay more for electricity. This will not be the first time that it is happening, right? And so let's touch on that briefly before we wrap this up. Enoch, with this one, I'll begin with you. AGI, for example, is saying that it's going to be a further burden and is not going to help industry if the PURC implements these new tariff adjustments. It's actually supposed to begin today because times are hard.
We all believe that the tariffs are very low for us. We all benefit and enjoy same. But looking at how high prices of fuel and other commodities on the world market are, in terms of energy generation, you know, most of these thermal plants use gas and other petroleum products to be able to power them. And prices on the price of these on the world market have gone up. And certainly, there's a need for us to do some level of adjustment to be able to keep these institutions running. It is not least to say that we are in an election year, and any ruling party that wants to win elections will avoid the ritual of publishing or bringing up an increment in tariff rates, which will occasion hardship on the good people of this country, to be able to use that as a ground to vote against the incumbent president. It shows that institutions of state are working, and they are working in the interest of the Ghanaian people and not thinking of the elections ahead of us. And certainly, once it is so, we should all support the call by the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission to accept the new tariffs in good faith as people, that going forward, when things stabilize, we will know. This government is the government that has lowered, in terms of increment, the pace at which utility tariffs have been increased throughout the 7.5 years in office. It is on record. And once the institutions are suffering and calling for some level of adjustment, I believe that in as much as it will bring some level of hardship to the good people of Ghana, including all of us, because we are all going to pay. We all buy electricity units. We all pay for water bills and the likes, and we are all going to pay. We are all going to be burdened with this increment or tariff adjustments and the like. But what can we do as a people? It is world over, and we must accept that in good faith and work in accordance to sustain these institutions to be able to deliver on towards the municipal services that we desire. It is better to pay more and to enjoy the services than to pay low for these institutions to crash down and going back to doing so, and shortage of water as has happened in time past. So, Lantam, all that I will say is that it is something unavoidable, and the good people of Ghana must accept it and run with it.
All right. Masaud.
Lantam, before I come to the issue of utilities, let me reaffirm our position that the NDC cannot trust and does not trust the GHOne Electoral Commission, led Electoral Commission, to resolve the errors that they themselves have created. And so the Electoral Commission cannot be a judge in their own cause. And so regardless of today's meeting, which is an opportunity for us to present to the world the infractions that we have been talking about, our call for an independent forensic audit of the voters register and the IT systems.
All right.
Is a non-negotiable.
I think you already made that.
Let me come to the issue of utility. You see, the increments we have seen are part of the automatic utility adjustments that the government has signed up to as part of the IMF program. Under the current IMF program, there is quarterly automatic increment in utility.
No problem there.
Having borrowed this country to bankruptcy, having imposed on us e-levy, COVID levy, betting tax, emissions tax, boiler tax, having given Ghanaians, including pensioners, crude and painful haircuts. This government is telling us that we should brace ourselves for more hardship. And so if they come and tell you that it is possible, if Alhaji Bawumia tells you that it is possible and that there is a certain new chapter, this is all that it's about. These are the bold solutions. The bold solutions simply mean that we will move this country from more hardship to even more hardship with no end in sight. Because this morning, on my way here, I heard in the news that the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAC, have already given indication that they will increase prices by 10% due to this. So where are we going from here? It is just one hardship after the other. And the only thing that is thriving in this country is corruption and more corruption. And so what I want to tell Ghanaians watching me today is that there is hope. Because today marks 67 days to change. A change that would restore this country on a path of prosperity and progress for all of us. I want to tell Ghanaians that the Egyptians we see today, these Egyptians, Alhaji Bawumia, President Akufo-Addo, and his lot of Egyptians in government, who are imposing hardship on us. The Egyptians we see today, we will see them no more, because change is coming. President Mahama and Jane, Nana Opoku-Agyeman, and the NDC are coming to rescue this country from the clutches of reckless leadership, clueless leadership, irresponsible leadership that has only compounded hardship on us, and restore this country on a path of progress and development.
Mr. Johnson, I'll give the final word on this subject matter to you. Yes.
Yes. Is inflation coming down?
Little by little.
Has the exchange rate gone seriously high?
Yes.
And would you say that is the actual reason why these increases are happening? I doubt it. I doubt it. I think one of the major challenges has got to do with, one, the water people not being able to get money to do what? To purify and refine our water because of Galamsey. And two, where electricity is concerned, the challenges of thermal, having to buy crude for thermal plants is another reason. These two are challenging. But in the end, where does it boil down to? Isn't it how government has handled the economy? Isn't that where it boils down to? Where 100,000 cedis is only $6,000. Where 28,000 cedis is only $1,400. Cannot even buy you a plane ticket to travel out of this country. Isn't it the economy that they're exacting the pressure on the people, and the people's salaries are not increasing? You see, one of the major challenges of a weak economy is corruption. It's corruption. If people can't live on their earnings, what do? They find ways and means out of it. If a water wants to find its way, it finds its way. And if we are not able to make sure that our economy, we are building on our economy to make our economy strong, these utilities will continuously go up. The energy sector, is it safe? The water sector, is it safe? Both sectors need money, don't they? Does government have the money? So where will government go to get the money? Back to the people. So I'll be right in concluding that unfortunately, this government has failed us. Be right in concluding. Because what do we want? We want a system, a lifestyle that we can say, we at least, the work we are doing, we can eat from the work we are doing. But today we can't. The kind of promises that were given us, and this is what pains me, the kind of promises that were given us 2016, 2017, it looked as if this country was going to be a paradise. Because the previous government had been bastardized to the core. Bastardized to the core. You can't use loan to pay loan. You're taking loans to pay loan. When we come in, we won't take loans. What would we do? We would make sure that business thrives. Has it thrived? A lot of the things they told us, have they been able to achieve it? And so, are you surprised that PRC is coming up with these tariffs. I'm not surprised. These tariffs are going to go up every year. Have they been able to make sure where electricity is concerned, they claw back revenue? Have they been able to do it?
They've run ECG aground.
Have they been able to do it? And now today, they want to break up the one biggest institution we have that is handling a lot of the things we are doing. Our generation, VRA, they want to break it up. Why? Because of the kind of constitution Nkrumah put in where VRA is concerned. They want to break it up and do what? The assets that VRA have, they can get access to it. They can get access to it. Look, I'll end by saying, if we do not stop this personal interest thing that we do in our partisanship politics, apart from Galamsey ending this country, that would also end this country. That personal interest thing has to stop.
It's already finished.
There has to be a leader who is ready to sacrifice for the people of this country. Because we cannot vote you into power and then you come and tell us that one of our best institutions, you want to do what? Break it up. You want to add VRA to Bui Dam. Bui Dam.
They want to break it up. Wait.
Bui Dam.
I thought it was a merge.
Wait.
Bui
Dam is a peaking dam. They want to merge and move our thermal to IPPs. If IPPs decide that you haven't paid us, so we will not give you electricity, what backup do we have? What's the thinking in what they are trying to do? President Akufo-Addo, you have only 2-3 months to leave. Don't break things up for us. Don't leave things that we cannot repair back. Don't. And we should not stand for VRA to be broken up. We shouldn't. It is sacrilege for the government to think of doing something like that. VRA is our only backup. Where power is concerned, it's our only backup. We can't depend on any IPP to back us up. At least VRA is our own. We shouldn't allow it to happen. And I support the VRA workers for going on demonstration to stop such a canker happening. Why? What is it? What is it? When you die, will you take all these things with you? Akufo-Addo and MPP, when you die, will you take all these things with you? So which is more important? Isn't it country first? But you want to put partisan politics before institutions that have helped this country. Do you know the kind of expertise and capacity that VRA has? And you want to break it up. Break it up for what? Because of what? Because of money.
So you see,
go and find the money.
Merging VRA and the Power Authority will break VRA.
Listen. Wasn't it like that before? You listened to the World Bank. You listened to IMF in the 90s to break it up. So we broke it up. And it looks as if things are working for us. You want to take it back because of what? You want to break the authority of VRA. That is what you want to break because you want access to the possessions that they have. It can't happen. It shouldn't happen. It has to stop.
All right. We'll have to end the breakfast review segment here. Thank you very much,
so 1 minute to do for me.
For joining us here in the studio. But yes, Enoch, 1 minute.
Yeah, I would like to tell the good people of Ghana that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has fine policies that will move this country forward. He's proposing the flat tax rate. That is the minimum as compared to the Chiremediamitua tax system that we have today. The Chiremediamitua tax system is where you go to GRA's office to assess your tax payment, and they will take you through all the algebra that you have studied from your class 1 to the university dates. If you have ever studied mathematics, you will understand why you are paying such an amount of money. But the flat tax rate policy will let you plan your life properly, that you know that at the end of the day, there's the amount of money that you are paying, which is coherent with the business that you are doing. If it is importation, you know the cost of a 40-footer container worth of goods and the likes, that you can plan and plan purposefully for that. The harmonization of our import duties with that of the port in Lome, Togo, is one of the fine things to do to be able to help and propel the SME sector and to galvanize trading in Ghana.
All right.
So we should all go for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the quintessential vice president of our time.
Thank you very much.
Who is forward-thinking and forward-looking personality of our republic.
Right before we end the breakfast review segment, let me just tell you to Choose Rena mineral water to quench your thirst. Rena mineral water. Can you let me do my LPM, please? Choose Rena mineral water to quench your thirst. Talk of hydration, wellness, and any health claims. Rena mineral water does it all. Produced in a clean environment, it's eco-friendly, and it has a beautiful package. So call Rena mineral water on 0245 193 710 or 05022 46804. And do note that this is vetted and approved by the FDA. Rena mineral water is what you should be drinking. Yes, Masaud, 10 seconds. We've wrapped up.
People of Ghana watching. Any clueless mate who tells you that you should suffer today, pay more for electricity, pay more for water, deal with inflation at almost over 20%, and your basic salary, which cannot take you home, and all the spiraling cost of living, suffer today because I have both solutions for you tomorrow. Know that that person is a liar and dishonest.
Integrity matters in this election.
The future of this country.
Someone has been president before. Bribery allegations are on his neck.
Well,
so integrity matters in this election.
Thank you very much. Masaud Mahama of the NDC, and Okafuako of the NPP, and Mr. Kwame Jantwa of the CPP. This is where we'll end the breakfast review segment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter who's in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets, and so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with this EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. really affordable.
Welcome back to the show. This is still GH Today here on GHOne TV. Now, growing up, we learnt about the Ghanaian culture. And key in Ghanaian culture, we learnt a lot about festivals. Name them. Hugbechocho, we learnt about Damba, we learnt about Homo, we learnt about Ojra. Now, this morning, we talk about one of the festivals, its significance, and how long we've traveled in culture here in Ghana. My guest this morning is a linguist at the Okuapehene Palace. He is Nana Ode Ampofo. Nana, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Thanks.
Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about Ojra and its significance for the Okuapem people over the years, how long the festival has traveled, and whether or not till date people still revere that festival.
Well, first of all, I will put them into three segments.
Okay.
The conceptual framework of the Ojra, and then we'll talk about the traditional aspect, and then brief history about it, because I'm sure everybody would want to know what Ojra is all about. Now, Ojra is a war deity.
Okay.
But to do that, let me do it in a reverse chronological order with respect to the origin of the Ojra. Now, Ojura was initially or originally celebrated by the people of Denchira. So you remember the war between the Denchiras and then the Ashantis,
yes.
1701, Feyase. So through that, the Ashantis captured the war deity, which is the Ojura. Before you celebrate the Ojura, everything revolves about that deity. Okay, so the Ashantis captured the deity. So you remember, if we go back, people will tell you that first the Ashantis used to celebrate the Ojura. That's where it came from. But there's something that normally we've been saying, that power is transient. And it's deeply rooted in the Akan proverb.
Okay.
That says that as far as the tail of the horse didn't remain at its original position, so will it never remain in the hands of the fetish priest.
So how do you say it in Chi?
Senia Papanko ni duananka neto no. Enka okonfonso nsem. So that actually came to play when the Ashantis, who had then captured the war deity and then a custodians of the war deity, vowed to teach the Ga Adangbis a lesson, a bitter lesson, as to why they aligned with the Fantis to block the Ashantis to the coast when they wanted to have their trading activities. That was 1824. It was called Nsamanko War. So
Nsaman what?
Nsamanko War. That's 1824.
Okay.
Then after 2 years later, Osei Yao Akoto, who was the Ashanti king by then, vowed to teach the Ga Adangbis why they went in alliance. So in 1826, that was when the Akatamansu War, it triggered the Akatamansu War. Osei Akoto asked why they should do that, and so sent about 40,000 men from the Ashanti region to the Akatamansu War. However, the Ga Adangbis had a word of that, and then they had aligned with the Ekwapims and the Akwemus, heavily backed by the British. So the Ashantis were heavily defeated, and some Asuna clan within the Ekwapim Ridge captured the war deity, which is the Ojura deity, captured that one, and other elements sent it to the Ekwapim Palace. So you see, it has gone through different hands, from the remote to immediate and the current. Now the current custodians of the Ojura deity is the Ekwapims. Now let's come to the traditional aspect. Now traditionally, it has become one of the widely celebrated event, because at that point, because war is something that is blood-tainted exercise, it is something that you need to purify yourself when you go after the war. So the king who was ruling at that time, Nana Addo Dankwa, I'm talking about 1816 to 1836.
Okay.
That's when he ruled. But that after that Akatamansu War, he instituted the Ojura, and he became one of the festivals of the Ekwapim. It is when the Ekwapims express their deep culture, their history, historical facts, things that actually define the Ekwapims. So at that point, rich culture, drumming and dancing, everything about culture is deeply expressed to the world as to who the Ekwapims are. Then let's come to the conceptual. I said there's a concept about that. It means purification. Ojura, the definition is purification. So we purify ourselves at that time.
Why do you purify yourself?
Yes, like I said earlier on, anybody who went to battle, one of the traditional rituals that are performed in relation to the fact that whatever happens, you may have people who will fall and others will come. So what happens is that those who will come, they would have to purify themselves off from the blood. You know, we don't like, you know, things that comes with human blood. So then there are things that you need to do to purify yourself. And that actually culminated into the institution of Lojura that has been celebrated. Next 2 years, which is 2026, will be the 200 years of the celebration of Ojura. Exactly, exactly. Now you talk about why people revere the Ojura, and I mean, you know, it has become one of the widely celebrated events. Why? Yes, because we have a unique area. Talk about our weather. As I'm talking to you now, if you want to book a place for Ojura, you will not get it.
Really?
I'm telling you.
With about 7 days to go?
You can check yourself.
Okay.
Now, so people from Ashrasi who captured the, what do you call it, the elements that I was talking about, and then the people from Krapime Kropong, they all come from the same Asuna clan.
Okay.
So the dynasty is Asuna. Anytime that Ojura is celebrated, it comes with a lot of tradition that people would want to experience. That is why it has gone that viral. One, every day has an activity that signifies something that you would love to listen, you would love to hear, that you would love to be part with. For instance, if it starts on Monday, it started what we call path clearing.
Okay.
And it has a significance. Yes. What it is the path clearing is an exercise where they have to clear the path between the Royal Mausoleum through to the forecourt of the Ohene. And it is to keep the channel open, communication channel open for libation pouring. When you are talking, once there's obstruction, you know,
so is this path clearing, is it a spiritual thing or is it a physical thing?
It's both.
Okay.
I mean, if they don't clear the path and people want to be part and they go there, they wouldn't be safe.
Okay.
You know, when the place is bushy. But spiritually, what we mean that we are just opening the communication channel between the spiritual world and the physical world. So that is what it means. So when the path is cleared, we know that once we pour a libation, it goes through because without any obstruction. That's what we mean by the significance of path clearing. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have what we know as outdooring of a new yam. There's one thing about the outdooring of the new yam, that is once the Adai Butu is still in a place, you cannot eat the new yam until.
What does that mean? You said once they are able to still in
okay,
place.
so when there's a ban on
harvesting.
No, not harvesting. Ban on drumming and noise making.
Okay.
Just like what you have in the gas
during the Homo.
Yes. So until that is lifted, there's no way anybody can have a taste of the yam. So on Tuesday, there's a ritual that is performed to give Nananum a taste of the new yam before we, the members of the court and the public, we are able to also have a taste of it. So Nananum would have to do that before. And then that very day, that is when the Ojura is ushered in. These are all, you know, symbolical, you know, kind of thing. So certain elements are brought to the Okuapehene on Tuesday, are actually telling you the beginning of the Ojura celebration. And then on Wednesday, it's also one of the days that is actually slated for mourning. Now, according to the Ekwapem history, throughout the year, once you've had people who have paid their dues through the contribution of Okuapemang, they need to be remembered. So it's departed souls that we remember. That's a posthumous remembrance that is actually, done to remember those who have, passed on. And then on Thursday, we are going to have a feast. And that's when everybody, where any place or any house that you enter, where you are likely to find a sumptuous meal that they have prepared. You can just put your hand into it.
Is this culture same today? I mean, we say the world has changed. How easy will it be for anybody to walk into any household and start eating?
Let me say that all these things, the activities that are associated with the days that I have actually started with, they are static. They are not to be tampered with. So what I'm saying, it still exists today. It's intact, perfectly. Now, it's only the social events that we have added to attract the youth to come to be part of it. But this is kind of a template thing that are not supposed to be tampered with. So what it is on Thursday, everybody prepares sumptuous meal. You enter into everybody's house and you are able to eat what you. And then the same very day, there is a renewal of bonds between the chiefs, the divisional chiefs, and the Okuapehene. That very day is a day that is set aside for settling of dispute between members within households and outside. So everybody, they prepare a meal, and then after the settlement of the dispute, to further ensure that the settlement is actually, it's gone well, sunk well, they prepare a meal in a big bowl. That is where we had the name Asanka. After they have eaten together, whoever the Busiapenying is, who actually mediated between them, would have to come and tell them that after you have eaten together, let's every issue,
assembling in anchor.
Oh, okay, so
that's why we got the name.
That's why it's only the Krapims who calls that Edinburgh Asanka. It came from that kind of activity that went on, because we know that once the people have been able to eat together, the issues that actually cropped up will be thing of the past. So we had Asanka. So the Ashantis call it Iowa, but we the Krapims call it Asanka. We call it that dialect specific differences between the Krapim and then the Ashantis. And then the Friday will be the Grand Deba, which I'm sure everybody would want to be part of it. That's when the Krapim sit in states and receive homage from subjects. All the 17 towns, the Krapim Ridge has 17 towns. All the 17 chiefs will be around, including the divisional chiefs. You have 5 divisional chiefs. They all will be around, and then we have people have been invited. We have invited a lot of dignitaries, including the President of the Republic of Ghana, who has a route to Kropong. I'm sure you know that. And then other dignitaries who matter, that we have invited them to come and be part of this Odra. But this has to do with the traditional aspect. So I might be talking to the early, persons. So let me at least talk to the youth about the Odra. We have also roped in, we realized that if we want to go so traditional, we will not have the youth participating.
Exactly.
So now what we have done is we have some social events that we have incorporated a lot of new kind of events that will actually attract them to be part of it, and some of them we're going to have from dance. We're going to have other things that relate to the youth. We would have football competition. and other things that will attract the youth to. But before then, let me talk about the theme of this Ojra, which is very important. And the theme is that is development, sustainable development through patronage of ecotourism and environmental health.
Okay.
Yeah, but and then
environmental health.
Environmental health. We're simply saying that, you know, this within the Krapim context. Yes, we're saying that before you have a sustainable development, development doesn't necessarily mean, you know, having jobs around. I mean, if we are able to develop our landscape, it will even be a, you know, a tourist attraction. You know, our weather is just like now that brings me to something that has been on my mind since you walked in. If we're talking about environmental health, we know the effects of galamsey on our environment, and in the eastern region, we know a number of these water bodies have been affected. It means that it affects the people who reside there and the people who live there. Is this a critical issue for Sadio? As you rightly pointed out, I was coming to that. If you listen to, or if you listen to the theme that I quoted, I mean, it has, you know, a direct connection to the effort of government that is being made to curb the menace of galamsey. You know, the eastern region, like you rightly said, within the Krapim enclave, you would not, you don't have that, you know, what do you call it, the galamsey issue going on. But because the Krapim is not an island from Ghana, the planning committee did very well by choosing this, you know, theme. Exactly. But we are saying that we have to be responsible to nature. Whatever you do, you make sure that at least you're responsible for what you are doing. Some activities that are undertaken, we need to be responsible. So Okrapehene himself led a team for a tree planting exercise. Just to tell the people, you know, through what his action that are being, we need to be responsible. Once you cut the trees for something, you need to replace them through some exercises like this. So what it is we chose this theme to augment the government's effort in curbing this alarming rate of what we are seeing. I think it's becoming alarming. Everybody is talking about galamsey. So it's not off, or is not the celebration of Ojra is not in a vacuum with respect to what the government effort is in regarding the effort is making to curb the galamsey. How many people are you expecting? Well, like I told you, from the 17 towns, I can count from Ashirase down to Ekropong. All hotels are booked. So I cannot actually
but
give you
last year, how many people were in attendance?
Well, normally what happens is that it is only where the Grand Deba is held that would give you
make room
that actually give you some kind of idea about how many the number. Because what happens is that somebody will come on Monday and will leave on Tuesday, others but mostly
it's a 1 week
exactly, it's a 1 week thing. Others come from the Monday through to the Sunday, and then you know the on Friday after the that is when you have the jams. You know? That is where the youth also take what do you call it, over.
They take center stage.
Exactly. You know, they also do their own thing, and then it is allowed, but this time it's regulated. I'm sure you've been hearing issues concerning immorality. I mean, now it's being regulated by that was set to check those things, excesses that may come up.
Okay, so in the spirit of celebration, let's celebrate some people who are having their birthdays today. Happy birthday, Cornelius Mensah. May your birthday mark the beginning of an incredible year filled with growth, success, and happiness. God bless you. From Abigail Susa. This one is coming from Sosa La Poche. So happy birthday to you, Cornelius. Happy birthday, my dear son, Adwala Awempene Bright. May God Almighty bless, guide, and protect you. May you grow to become a blessing to the family and the world at large. Mom and Dad love you. From Adwala Mark. Happy birthday to you, son. Happy birthday. Grow in grace. Yes, so this is from our very own Adwala to his son, and from all of us. We celebrate you, Bright. Happy birthday to you. Keep growing in grace. May God bless you and keep you. So those are the celebrations. And to anybody out there celebrating their birthdays today, we say happy birthday to you. Live large, enjoy life, and enjoy the grace of God. Still in the spirit of celebration, Nana de Ampofo is still here. Nana. Now we're done with Ujra, but is it something that you're looking forward to highly patronage?
Yes, but let me reverse a bit with respect to the uniqueness of one of the cultural elements, and that is our Fonton From. Have you watched our Fonton From before?
No.
The whole world. Let me put it within that perspective. If you have had an experience with any ensemble, those who have done literature knows verses and verse and stanzas.
Okay.
Now, what is unique about our Fonton From? You check that the Fonton From, the ensemble and the number of drums that people use are the same. However, when you come to a crap, and that's why we're going to have what you call Fonton From dance competition. The competition, yes. What it is ours gestures that we know they are non-verbal cues are called paralinguistics. They are paralinguistical activities. So they talk. Now, when you watch Katie and other, ensemble being played, and you watch whoever is in the middle dancing, whatever the person does is he dances throughout, he never ends it. But the difference here is that the Fonton From, the last gesture that you make, or whatever your hands, your movement, and everything that you do, the last gesture that you make should end with the last stroke of the from. So, like the Fonton From wants to end from, you have to end with your gesture. From. If you don't end with the, it means that you are not that proficient enough, you are not skillful, you don't know the gravamen of the dancing. You'll be opted out in a very nice way by those who are playing. So that gives you that uniqueness of the Fonton From that I'm talking about. We're going to have a competition. You know where.
Will there be prizes awarded?
Yes, there will be. But what it is that is going to take place somewhere around, I think, after the Grand Derby. They would have that one, and so we are inviting everybody. What it is, the youth. Let me say that we're going to have the youth are now. Let me put it that nocturnals.
Yes,
they take the stage in the evening. So we call them the nocturnal animals. So I'm sorry to that, but it's just also anything that we do traditionally in the afternoon, in the evening,
they can have their turn.
They can also have their turn. That's how the Ojura now is designed in order to just inculcate everybody, to bring everybody together to
back home.
Exactly.
To celebrate. So from Monday, the 7th,
on the 7th to 13th.
Which is the Sunday.
Which is the Sunday. That's when the Thanksgiving service will be held. and it will be led by the Okuapehene himself. They will go to the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, and then they would go thanking the Almighty God for having looked through, giving them life and having watched over them
for a beautiful Ojra celebration.
So that is how it's going to be.
So 198 years.
198 years, and then the next Friday will be Fofie. The Fofie is one of the epochal, days on the calendar. It follows the Eukudai. Every 9 days after the Eukudai is a Fofie.
Okay.
Every 9 days. From Akwesidai, 15 days after Akwesidai. So if you want to calculate it by the 15 days,
calendar.
15 days after the Akwesidai, you have Fojo.
Okay.
And then 8 days after that, you have the Benada Dapa, and the day after you have a Ukudai, and then 9 days after that one, you have the Fufi.
Okay. Nana, thank you very much for coming, and we wish you a successful Ojra. You have some appellations that you do. Please give me a rendition so that we can sign up. So that's Nana Odeampo, he's a linguist of the Okuapehen's Palace.
So let me greet my my overlord. Okuapehene machu wadaurma nkukuya kabang ekufu sa berempong ekufu koto birija eminti mirimantam hiridi pampam hiridi kwa yensi amoya ujampenturu du jansakansa kabosoro jamponsam kuya yirifia dakabere osisi biri sini okoso na adofo piesi atwe ne berempong kokko kese a waye dufochi sansenku sa kwantimfi yakwatiwa yayira yedi ekumasi uma waja amene